It's the last summer episode. I hope you've had some fun with us. If you haven't been tuning in, you should go watch some of the previous episodes. My name is Sam. I'm the lead pastor of West Bradenton, and Wes, as always, is right behind the camera. So, last question. Let's see what question this is. Where did the question go? Where's the question? Here we go. Today's question comes from, oh my goodness, Washington, D.C. Does the Bible support the Second Amendment? Okay, let's talk America again. We did that in a previous episode as well. Different question though. In America, the right to bear arms is enshrined in the Constitution. But here's a bigger question for Christians. Does the Bible support the Second Amendment? I know what the Constitution says, and yes, the Constitution is important, very important. The Bible's more important. So, this isn't about politics so much, it's more about scripture. So let's talk guns, self-defense, and what it means to live as a follower of Jesus in a very, very broken world. First point, thank you, Captain Obvious. The Bible was written before firearms. Yes, I know that. So you won't find the words Second Amendment or guns in the Bible. So if you're doing a Google search, I've already given you the answer there. However, the Bible does talk about weapons, violence, self-defense, and how God's people should respond to threats. So Jesus acknowledged self-defense, but not aggression. In Luke chapter 22, verse 36, Jesus says, "And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. If you don't have a weapon of self-defense, sell something, go get one. This is important." Now, the context here, so you can say, okay, that's a bit of a proof text. Just pull a verse out. Okay, what's the context? Jesus here is preparing the disciples for coming hostility, that could be potentially something that they face, which they would. Now, okay, but we also know Matthew 26:52, where Jesus says, "Put away your sword. Those who use the sword will die by the sword." And in Matthew 26, the context there is Jesus rebuking Peter for aggressive violence. So you take these two passages, both swords, both weapons, what's going on? Jesus does not forbid self-defense. Jesus does not forbid having some weapon to defend yourself, but he also does not promote violence as a way of life. There is a tool, a weapon, use it appropriately. So it's a very simple lesson. It's okay to have a weapon and be prepared, but we are not to be aggressive. We are not to be violent. Scripture does affirm the right to protect yourself and also affirms the right to protect others. Exodus 22 talks about how if a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck and dies, the homeowner is not guilty of bloodshed. So somebody breaks into your home, you don't know what's going on, you defend your home, you defend yourself, something happens. In this case, the thief dies because of the injuries. You are not guilty. So the principle here is that the Bible makes a distinction between someone getting killed during a time of self-defense and murder. God values justice. God also values human life. And there is a balance here. So a word of caution, for those of you who own, firearms, it's not about vengeance. We're not talking about vengeance. That would be condemned by the Bible. Taking a weapon and proactively doing harm to someone is something the Bible would condemn. However, owning a weapon for protection is something that actually Jesus prescribed. So the Bible supports personal responsibility, not vigilantism. Romans chapter 13, beginning of Romans chapter 13, the government bears the sword to punish wrongdoing. We can't just go out there and do this stuff our own. Christians are not called to take justice into their own hands, but neither are we forbidden from defending ourselves from or others from harm. So gun ownership isn't about taking the law into your own hands. It's about being prepared to protect life in a broken world. Now, as you can imagine, I'm going to talk about wisdom and restraint, and then ultimately your gospel witness with everything that you do, not just, particular weapons you may own. So 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23 says, "All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful." So just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. So the question here is, does your stance on firearms enhance or hinder your witness for Christ, because that's what's most important. I believe in the Constitution. I will do everything I can to defend and uphold the Constitution. But the more important issue is your witness in God's kingdom. Christians should be known more for their faith in Jesus than their faith in firepower. So does the Bible support the Second Amendment? Well, the Bible affirms the value of life and also the legitimacy of self-defense. The Bible cautions against violence and vengeance and fear-based living. So the Bible doesn't guarantee a right to bear arms, but it does support the responsibility to protect yourself and to protect others. Your right to own a weapon should never come before your responsibility to reflect Jesus. Do you think the Bible supports gun ownership? I know that's a big question. If you want to leave a comment, be civil, but I'd love to hear your take. I'd also love for you to subscribe to our church channel. Part of what we're doing with these a bit clickbaity questions here in this summer series is, one, we like having fun at our church in summertime when we do that. But we also would love for you to tune into more content. We've got sermons, and we're going to have more things like this in the future. We're going to be doing some different things here. So, hey, subscribe, hit the like button. We would love for you to be in tune with what we're producing here at West Bradenton. Do appreciate all of you who've tuned into this summer series. We'll have more stuff coming soon. We'll see you at church.